Okay, now let's define a one-to-one relationship between user and profile. So a user has one and only one profile, and a profile belongs to one and only one user. To implement this, we go back to our user class and add a new field, private profile. We import the profile class defined in the entities package. We call it profile, and then annotate it with the one-to-one annotation. That's one end. Now we need to implement the other end. So we go to the profile class and add a new field, private user, and annotate this with the one-to-one annotation. Now, IntelliJ is suggesting to set the cascade attribute of this annotation. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about cascading later in the section. So let's just apply the one-to-one annotation. Okay. Now, just like before, we have to decide which end is the owner of the relationship. I told you that's where we have a foreign key. So take a look here in our database. In the profiles table, we have the ID column that is both the primary and also the foreign key. So a profile record knows about the user, but a user doesn't know about a profile. So in this relationship, the profile is the owner, and this is where we use the join column annotation. Here we set name to ID, and then we go to the other end and specify the owner. So we copy the name of this field, we go to the user class, and here we set mapped by to user. Again, we have to tell Hibernate about the owner of the relationship so it can generate correct SQL statements for retrieving and saving data. Now, there is one more annotation that we have to use when defining one-to-one relationships. We go to the side, that is the owner, and where we have the join column, we apply another annotation, and that's maps ID. This tells Hibernate to use the same column as both the primary and the foreign key of the entity. All right, now let's work with these objects. So we go back to our main method. We don't need a tag anymore. Instead, we should create a profile object. Now here I'm going to use the builder pattern because the profile entity has a bunch of optional attributes, so it's a good candidate for using the builder pattern. So let's go to the profile class and apply the builder annotation. We should also apply all args and no args constructor annotations. Now back to our main method. Here we call profile.builder. For this demo, I just want to set bio to some text and then build a profile. So we have the profile, and then we simply call user.setProfile and pass the profile. Let's run the application. Okay, here's our user object, and in this object, we have this profile object. We have the default representation. So once again, we can apply the toString annotation. So we can print this in the terminal. Now take a look. Here's our profile. We have only set the bio field. Hey guys, while reviewing this video, I realized I made a mistake. In this implementation, we're assigning a profile to this user object. So our user object has a reference to this profile object. So if you run the application, look, here's our user object, and obviously this user has a profile. Beautiful. But there is a tiny problem here. Look, in this profile object, user is set to null. So the profile object has no reference to the user object. To fix that, we have to call profile.setUser and pass the user object, just like how we did in previous lessons. But now if we run the application, we get a Stack Overflow exception, and you know why this is happening, because of the loop between these two objects. To fix this issue, we can go to our profile entity. This is where we have the user field. Now we apply toString.exclude annotation. Let's run the application again. The problem is solved.